Well, hey everybody. Let's talk about the Midwest Panel Builders Avionics rack. And so this will be the first one of this series. In this step, we're going to talk about what comes in as far as the rack and what needs to go away as far as the sling kit is concerned, and how this is all going to end up fitting together up front. So here we have the top front rib that Sling provides. It's the green primed, and then what I have Cleco pliered in is Midwest's doubler plate, and then the rack itself. And as you can tell from Midwest, this is the top of it, and this is the front, and then this is the bottom where the vertical power goes, the Rotax, and the relays. Now, this eventually will go sit in here like this, but obviously there's some riveting and that kind of stuff that has to happen for this to end up fitting. So, and put that down, but you can tell there's the rivet holes, and they're right here. Now you can tell also that none of these are drilled through. So what Midwest tells us to do is to align to the lightning holes, which this is lined back and forth, and they are good, and that's why they're Clecoed in. And then from there, we're okay. Now, you will see that the distance may look a little bit off, right, from here to over here. And that's just a rack sizing thing. But when you look at the way that it actually lands with a ruler, and let me put the ruler in a way that makes sense, you'll see much better alignment on that side where it's hitting up here. And then when we go to this side, you'll see that same thing where we get much better alignment where we're hitting up here as well on that side. So this is good. Now, there's a lot of match drilling that has to happen. Basically, each one of these holes needs to be match drilled so that the 4.0 rivets can get installed. And then there's a whole bunch of bigger holes that need riv nuts installed as well. So the first step is going to be match drill all this stuff, and then basically we'll rivet the outside perimeter, but we won't rivet anything from the notch inward on the bottom, because obviously the that shelf has to get riveted into this. So we will not do any of these rivet holes yet until we're in a better spot for that. So up here, Midwest Panel Builders provides a bag of parts, and these include the riv nuts and some screws and some washers for those riv nuts and that kind of stuff to be able to mount the GSU 25 and the IBS 1 and 2. So those will get done that way. The other thing that I did, of course, with any of these panel parts is you might find some burrs remaining still from the manufacturing process. Do the same thing as you normally do with the Sling hardware, right? You clean, deburr all the parts, and go from that perspective. If you want to prime this thing, prime it as well. Obviously, it's you'd have to take this all apart if you wanted to prime the shelf, or just tell Midwest, you want to do something special with it, and it'll probably cost you a little bit more to do it that way. Now, where does this all go? So right now, in the fuselage, I don't have my firewall installed yet, but this is a good time, right, to install this guy as well. Now, this is going to end up going right here. It's going to, get slotted in right here, and it'll get up against the riser here as well. And that's something that we'll have to drill the other way. So on the back, we'll have to make sure that we drill these 4 rivet holes through. And obviously we don't want to use a 3.28 millimeter on this. We want to use something larger. So if you have 3.210s to go through, that's better on this, because again, you've got to go into that structure on the top 2 here as well, get that support. So once that's in, obviously we can do the rest, which is get the shelf in place. So that part's cool, right? One thing that Sling does provide, this part is in the diagram, right? And so for you Behringer guys, this is the Behringer brake reservoir mounting bracket, and it sits in front of the the rack shelf that Sling provides. Size comparison. So there's that for you. But these pieces, except for the Behringer part, you can go to the side. Normally this would go basically right here, right on the Sling itself when you're doing the front upper. And this, so it would end up like this basically, and on the riser, right, it would end up looking like that sitting there. So that's what it normally does. What ended up happening instead is that that we'll do an upper support. We'll make a support bracket for this, because this is going to get pretty heavy, right? So we'll make a hole down here. We'll put a L bracket across it, and then we'll bring a bracket up to the bottom of the panel and support the panel that way. And then we'll probably mount that Behringer brake reservoir assembly to the front of the upper support for that panel as well. So that'll get done here, but that's really step 1 to getting this panel put together. All right, the first set of holes are drilled. As you can tell, I put some red X's where I'm going to do a couple more drills. So I'd like to get, somewhat like 3 inches between each one, or in this case, this span is about 5, this span is about 6. So, I'm going to try to do a little bit more, because this panel weighs a lot. So I'm going to make sure it's fully secured to this thing. So I just like symmetrical as well. So for instance, there's not a hole on this side. There's a hole over here, so I'm going to make that symmetrical. And the same thing with this one. I'm going to put a hole over here as well, just to make that symmetrical. Then I'll go back and I'll do the 3.2s on this side as well. For right now, I'm gonna put a punch on these. I'm just gonna use a punch to get my drill bit centered so it doesn't drift, and then I'll drill through. And then we've got to go back and get all the rib nuts and all their holes situated as well. So we'll take care of that next and proceed from there. All right, so we've got these drilled. Now, the one thing you notice that these over here, there's nothing here yet. So we'll be drilling through that panel, the bottom tray, as well as soon as we get everything lined up. But first, let's get everything lined up, and we're gonna continue here while we have this off. And what we'll end up doing is now we're gonna drill the holes for the riv nuts, which they're already right size from Midwest Panel Builders to go in. So they'll go in. The large ones, they go for the GSU 25, and the smaller ones go for the Hibs, and that's pretty straightforward on that side. The other holes, cable management kind of stuff. So is what it is on those, but we're gonna also drill these, and they're the same size basically as these, so it's one drill bit, two drill bit sizes, because these are two different size roof nuts, right? So two different sizes, but pretty easy work to zip through this. Once this is all done, we're gonna remove all the clecos. We're gonna deburr all the holes that we just made on both panels to make sure that that's nice and tidy. Get rid of all the shavings, and proceed to re-cleco, and then again we could rivet the perimeter and some of the extras that I've done, and then we'll go back. Now there are a couple, this one in particularly, and this one, that there was a hole already on the panel that interferes a little bit with its hole. So I'm gonna put a rivet washer on one of them because it's too big, and the other one, I think it's this one, I'm gonna drill to 4/8, and I'm just gonna do a larger rivet on it. But we added plenty of extra coverage. Remember, we got plenty of coverage over here. We added some, and on this side we added this guy and this guy. So we added two where we have an issue with this one. So that makes for a nice balance as well, and it should be fine. Okay, so now we have all the riv nut holes properly sized, and we've gone ahead and we've cleaned those holes up as well. Now we just, what we did is we put the bottom on, right, the tray itself against the plate, and we have to drill these 3 holes. Remember, we got this to take care of, so to get there we need to make sure we go all the way through, and so these are the last 3 3.3s that we'll drill to put 3.2 rivets in there as well. So once that's done, we are basically ready to put rivets in and get the riv nuts fully secured in, and then this arrangement can go in. We also have these supports. They're going to go like so. So we're going to go from that to that, and it looks like we just need to upsize this hole as well, because that wasn't quite done yet, but we'll upsize that hole to match that screw in just a little bit. All right, we've gone ahead and we've fitted everything now, and what I've done is I've just laid in the first set of rivets along the top to make sure those fit, and then I've gone ahead and I've test fit all of these guys to make sure all the riv nuts fit like they were drilled. And so now we're going to get ready to just set these riv nuts, and we're going to use a little bit of epoxy just to set them in, make sure that's good as well, and then we'll set the outer ring of rivets, and then we'll come back for this one and this one. Of course, this one I drilled extra, remember? And so we're gonna rivet this guy And then these we're going to leave open on the bottom because that's where the shelf connects. You'll know the notch here, right? So we're going to leave all of these open. We're not going to rivet them. We're just going to leave them cleat-code. And we'll get that one, and we'll get this other corner one. And then the rest are pretty much good. This guy as well, because of the way that it lined up to a hole, we're also going to use a rivet washer just to hold the back of it a little bit better. So that's that one as well. All right, let's do that, and then we'll come back. All right, so here we go. Everything is riveted in place. All the rivet nuts are secured. You can see a little bit of the epoxy just around them as well. And the next steps are really to take a look at this panel in the plane itself, and then position it, right? So we gotta position it with, you know, they're gonna come into that and then cross over there as well. And then secure it to that. And then we've got to put the shelf in temporarily and get the measurement for the support in there as well. So that is next. All right, so here's the rack test fit into the plane itself. You can see I've got 2 clecos right here, and then the back is all clecoed up. And then of course we've got 2 copper clecos that are going to this structure, and there'll be 3 more in there. You can see the 3 holes that are open. That'll take 3 more rivets in there. Now that we got it in here, you'll see the supports. I've got these loosely fitted. Obviously we'll put some Loctite on these when it's time, but right now they're fitted in place. And now we've got to deal with the bungee rack, right? And so what we'll end up doing is we'll cutting some angle, right, and some of this angle stock, and we're gonna put make a base for the angle stock to sit on, just like we did basically for these brackets, right? We're gonna do it on there, and then we're gonna do the upright as well, and then we're gonna secure it to the front of the rack. So that'll get this nice and secure and stable, and that way it won't be bouncing around on us in flight. So there's that. And yeah, after this we'll do the next series when it's time to hit on the wiring harnesses itself that lay into here. But right now, this is what we have, and we'll test fit it all, and we'll go from there.